Arizona Cardinals in 2025 have the chance to do something special after Monty Ossenfort completely reshaped this team, and now we're in a good position to strike and actually make the playoffs. Now, will we get there? Who knows? I have no idea at the end of the day, but the Cardinals have the chance to do something special, and if everything goes right and we can actually clean up a few mistakes that we made last year and correct those, we're going to be in a good spot. And today we're going to be going over some of those, and we have a big list on the offense and defensive side of the ball. These things have to be cleaned up, or we're not going to be in a position to make the playoffs, and this year could be a complete disaster. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into this list. But before we do, if you guys are new to the channel and end up enjoying today's video, consider hitting that subscribe button. I post Arizona and the NFL content, so if you're a fan of either of those, this is the perfect channel for you. But let's go ahead and dive right into this. We got lists for both, and we're going to be kind of like deep diving a little bit. Some of these might be surface level, but a lot of these do need to be corrected, and if they don't, we're in deep, deep trouble. First things first, we're going to start on the offensive side of the football. Now, there's a lot of things that you might be looking at this and you're just like, well, duh, but this is kind of like the whole point. We do need to go over some of these things. A lot of these do have to be corrected. And if not, we're in trouble, like I said. Second half performance, we need that cleaned up. We cannot have another blunder of a year in the second half. If we do, I'm just going to lose my mind. And a lot of that kind of does fall on Kyler, but at the same time, the defense has to level up as well. Last year wasn't fully on Kyler, but we have seen his play decline. In the second half, that is a real thing. Kyler Murray has to step up, because if he doesn't, then we're going to have some awkward conversations, and you guys might see a little bit of a shift, because that has to be cleaned up. It's been too repetitive for too long. So much so that this is literally how he goes in the second half of the season. This is the breakdown towards the back end. September, he has a total record in his career of 7-9-1. That is a 44 win percent. Terrible. October, he normally thrives right here. This is where people talk crap and say Kyler declines. He always elevates his game. He's 15-8 with a 65 win percent. But then right after that, things just take a massive hit. And yes, I do know the regime has been terrible. And yes, I do know the roster hasn't been constructed perfectly. But Kyler does have to step up and elevate this team. He has to elevate the roster. There's no excuses this year right now. Kyler in November, 4-10, that's a 28 win percent. That is absolutely awful. In December, 8-15, that's a 34 win percent. In January, we're 2-3 with a 40 win percent. In January, it's not as bad, but November, December, those months stand out to you. September and October, it is what it is. November, December, that is where the collapse happens. We need to step up. We can't suffer another loss against the Carolina Panthers, who whooped us and eliminated us from playoffs and dropped 40. That wasn't Kyler's fault entirely, but it just goes to show that like this team for some reason just crumbles in that second half of the season, and I don't know why. That has to be corrected, and if it's not, that is big, big, big mistake number one. Number two, let's go ahead and talk about this, is Drew Petzing. A lot of you guys are saying, oh, this should only be on Kyler Murray. No, Drew Petzing has to take accountability. He has to take fault too, because what we saw rolled out last year is just pure unacceptable. He's so predictable that the fan base should not be able to be like, Amari Demercado's checking in the game on third down, it's going to be a pass, or it's going to be a halfback draw. Like, it shouldn't be that obvious, or it's going to be a screen pass. Like, you think if we pick up on these things, that defensive coordinators and these high people, the high IQ NFL linebackers, defensive linemen, corners, they're not pinpointing this and like, hey, they just subbed him in. On film, we see that it's always a screen. It's always a freaking halfback draw. It's always a pass. It's just the obvious things. Like, if we're picking up on it, they're picking up on it too. It's not that difficult. Like, the obvious tells, like I said, if Amari Demercado's in the game, you know it's going to happen. Situational awareness too. Drew Petzing was awful at this. It would be 3rd and 9, and it's a halfback draw every single time. Like, what are we doing? We're not even trying to convert at this point. We just want to punt the football. Drew Petzing, terrible. I think in that Minnesota game too, where we were on like what, the 4-yard line, we shouldn't have kicked the field goal. We should have just gone for it. We were up 3. Could have went up double digits and actually secured the win against one of the best teams in the NFL. We didn't do that. The situational awareness too by Drew Petzing is atrocious. We need him to clean up. We need him to get better. Obviously, the way he does run the football and has a scheme designed is perfectly fine. The tight end utilization, I understand. There's a lot of things he does right, but there's a lot of things he does wrong too that just irks me, and he needs to find that happy balance. He let Kyler kind of air it out in that Seattle game, but that is it, and it didn't go well. Kyler threw 2 picks back-to-back, the first time in his career. It was just an abysmal game overall. Can't do that. You can't do that if you're Kyler. You can't do that if you're Drew Petzing. You need to find that happy balance, and we're in a good spot. Kyler played good ball last year. Drew Petzing played called all right games for the most part. It was so wishy-washy. Some games he'd call like perfectly executed things. Next game would be atrocious. Both of them have things to clean up in 2025, and then if they do, this offense has the chance to be top 12. top 10, and we're going to be in a good position. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is also another key in this. He has to take that leap into year 2. I know he's a rookie, but cracking 850 yards and 8 touchdowns, the upside is definitely there. You know the work ethic's there. Jonathan Gannon raves about it all the time. Clearly, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a worker. He wants to get better at football, and he needs to clean up a lot of things. There's obviously a ton of things in his game where there's holes. We need him to be better, and if he can clean those up, then we're going to be in a good position. For example, coming back to the football on routes. He has to get better at that. He can't just stay stagnant. In the NFL, you got to drive backwards. You got to come back, and you have to have those consistent hands. He wasn't very consistent last year, had a very low drop rate. But, you know, we saw a lot of drops last year. Cardinals fans, we are not dumb. We're not blind. Even if they gave him that, he has to clean it up. I'm not worried about his hands. I'm not worried about anything. Like, it's just little stuff and timing and comfortability in the game slowing down. Kyler even said, hey, in the beginning of my career, the first 8 games, the game was not slowed down at all. I was playing at like a gazillion miles an hour. Understandable. You're a rookie. You got to figure that out. I'm not worried about that. And he has to come down with these 50-50 balls. If Kyler's going to give you a chance at 6'4", you got to come down with these. You got to be aggressive. You got to snag the ball like you did in college. Do that. We're going to be in a good spot. And then you obviously just have to step up and be the team's number 1 wide receiver. You have to be able to crack 1,000 yards and be a reliable target. And in his rookie year, a lot of upside, a lot of potential, and we saw that. So I'm not worried about him. We also need the O-line to stay healthy. And maybe bring back Will Hernandez. I would love to see him back. I think they're just waiting for him to get healthy and then fully evaluate him and see what that's looking like. But I would love to see Will Hernandez back. The O-line has to stay healthy, though. Jonah Williams can't drop in the middle of the season. Paris Johnson in the back end was injured. Like, just a lot of very unfortunate injuries. And then Will Hernandez going down, torn ACL. Like, it just derailed our year. Our O-line was playing very solid, and then it just broke down towards the end of the year. And then our team broke down. So they're a crucial part of this. And also the final thing, drive killing flags. We would be marching down the field, and it would be 2nd and 6, and then it would turn into 2nd and 16. And then that 2nd and 16 turns into 3rd and 12. And that 3rd and 12, we run a halfback draw, and it just kills the drive. Can't do that. We need to be better. And those are my offensive things. You guys let me know down in the comments if I ended up missing anything. I think I nailed it, though. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. You guys can let me know that, too. But that is what I have on the offensive side of the ball. Let's go ahead and switch it to the defense. First things first, again, second half performance. This is a team thing. It's not just a Kyler thing. Since Kyler's been here, it's been a problem, but it's not just a Kyler thing. Like, again, the 40 points to the Panthers, that's not on Kyler Murray. So we need to clean that up. The team has to play complementary football. We have to be better together. It's a team sport. We need to win this thing together. We got to lock in. The defense has to perform at all times. We had a stretch in like the middle of the season where we were like a top 5 unit, not allowing touchdowns for like 5 games. But then outside of that, it was just abysmal. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop anybody in like the first 7 games of the season. We were struggling so hard. If we did not score like the first 3 possessions, we were not winning the game. It was that simple, and we were scoring on every first drive. So, like, it was just all bad on the defensive side of the ball. But the talent is finally here. But that talent must live up to expectations. You signed Josh Sweat. You signed Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson. You just drafted Will Johnson to be your boundary corner. You just signed, or drafted, why do I keep saying signed? You drafted Walter Nolan in the first round. Like, you bolstered this defense up. You also got Birch. You also got Denzel Burke. You got all of these guys. Defensive-focused draft, defensive-focused free agency. The offense is the same. The defense was the problem. The Cardinals clearly believe that because the offense is untouched. Now the defense has all of the weapons in the world. And Nick Rallis is so good at utilizing with nothing. Now he has talent. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and that's if we can stay on the field and be healthy. That's the final point you guys see right here, but we're going to touch on that right now. We can't be derailed with injuries. Like a BJ Ojolari going down with a torn ACL, that killed us. Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols going down before week 5, that killed us. We need the depth, we need the talent, and we need to be able to stay on the field. And yes, the NFL is a super physical sport. People are bound to go down with injuries, but we need to be as healthy as possible to make noise. So hopefully the defense is able to stay healthy, and this D-line that we invested so much into needs to cause pressure. BJ Ojolari, Josh Sweat, Zaven Collins, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson. We have so many people on this line that we need to cause pressure. Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols are rotational guys if they're on the roster going into 2025. That's ridiculous. Like, we have all the potential in the world. We have to make sure we utilize it, like I said, and live up to expectations. But this D-line has to cause pressure, and we also have to stop the run. We cannot get gashed. We need to be better on both sides, but we need to be able to get to the quarterback, and we have to be able to stop the run. I think Calais Campbell was huge on that. That is a huge signing, and we're going to be in a good position, but we have to live up to these expectations. We also have to get off the field on freaking third down. This was irking me so much last year. Let's pull up the rankings, but as you guys see, the defense was hot trash, especially against the run. Opponents' yards and per rush is 4.6, which ranked 25th in the league. That is awful. Opponents' rushing yards per game, 20th in the league, 126. A touchdown a game, ranking 18th in the league. On top of that, third down conversion percent, number 28 in the league. Get off the field. We got to be better, and I think Nick Rallis is going to be able to dial things up and actually get some pressure on the quarterback, and maybe we only blitz 4. Maybe we blitz 5. We're going to have some schematic things that I'm excited for. Nick Rallis is going to be able to cook up, but we have to get off the field on third down or we're going to be in trouble. That's what I got for the defensive side of the ball. You guys let me know how you guys are feeling about it, what you would add, what you would take off, and what I nailed. Also, we're going to be talking about this because this is pretty monumental as well. Chad Ryland. I don't know how to feel about him. You guys let me know if I'm tripping right here. I know he had an exceptional year, but it is 1 year of like just good game-winning kicks, yes, but they were all inside like 40 yards. Like the one against Miami was probably the most impressive, but like outside of that, they're just chip shots. I'm not really loving it. Like I like Chad Ryland. I think Chad Ryland is solid, had a really good year, but before that, there's nothing on tape to show he's a good kicker. So I'm really hoping that Chad Ryland's year was not fluke, and this is something we can actually rely on, and he's a reliable kicker, because with Matt Prater gone, we have no insurance policy, so he could derail our season, or he could be a great kicker and keep hitting game-winning field goals and being consistent and just being that guy, which I'm really hoping he is because we need him to be going into 2025. Otherwise, we're going to have another season like we had Chandler Catanzaro, who kind of killed our season when we had Pat P., Larry Fitzgerald. We had all those guys, Kyler Murray. We had all the talent, DeAndre Hopkins, but we just couldn't kick game-winning field goals, and we could not close games. So hopefully we're not in that situation where we have the talent, but our kicker derails our year, because I would absolutely cry. But if Chad Ryland's consistent, then shout out to him. We need that. I'm hoping for the best. And obviously I'm not wishing on his downfall. I need him to be good. We all need him to be good, and we're putting faith and optimism into him, but we need that. It has to be pointed out. With that being said, that is going to wrap up today's video. You guys let me know your guys' notes down in the comment section below. Maybe you give me 3 from the offense, 3 from the defense, and if the special teams is a concern to you going forward. But that's going to wrap it up. If you guys did enjoy, consider hitting that subscribe button. I post Arizona Cardinals and NFL-related content. So if you're a fan of either of those, this is the perfect channel for you. Hopefully the Cardinals can clean these things up. Hopefully we can make some noise and potentially make the playoffs. With that being said, that is going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. It's been your boy Mythic. Peace out.